as we know the information about the book, when we search on Google about your book, we got the information, but we want to know much more about you. So could you brief us about yourself?
Sure. I am born in a humble middle class family, and my father was working with industry. And in childhood itself, I got opportunity to visit industries like Bokaro Steel Plant, Bhilai Steel Plant, and some of them were in making. Then I have seen from scratch how an industry is erected, how it functions. And the best part is that previously, when in childhood I was seeing industry, there was no computer at all. And the moment I grew up and I joined MCA when only three universities were having MCA in India. And very soon I got involved in process of digitization. I started with Government of India, Planning Commission, Railways, and Coal India Limited, and all. And this way I have grew up with the computerization in India. And later I took up health management also. More than 1,000 hospitals I computerized fully. Paperless computerization. They communicate with patients, doctors, machines, everything paperless. That is what is my journey. I have done MCA, PGDBA, and PGDHHM, and that's the way I am. My interest in spirituality makes me more comfortable with modernization, and I mix both how spirituality can be scientific and how science can be too spiritual. Thank you.
Okay, sir, that's great. And share what this book entails for us, so.
Yes, the book guides you through the whole process of digitization of an industry or business, right? Starting from the prerequisites, deciding the hardware and software, the role of business and industry owner needs to play, the flow of activities through the departments, the overlaps, the roadblocks, and their possible solutions. It also explains the reasons for failure, why sometimes implementation fail. Most of the books on ERP and digitization will tell you what ERP software will do, what it will not do, and limitations. But I have focused on, besides what software will do, what an individual user requires to do, what management requires to do, so that an ERP can be an asset and it will help in growth of the industry.
And your book guides us through the end-to-end process of digitization of an industry. So can you elaborate on this statement?
Right. Like a child is taught the first alphabets, then the words, then small sentences to study a full language. Digitization is the same. You have to take everything step by step, yet you have to understand it in totality. Just like the human body, the respiration cannot be stopped to do digestion or brain functions. Similarly, digitization is about a whole load of things to be performed simultaneously in tandem. It cannot be done ad hoc. It requires the contribution of the first promoter of the owner the most. Generally, it is missing. Whoever undertakes the process of digitization will reap the benefits of it. Having said this, if you leave it to your trusted managers, the output generated shall benefit them, not you. And it is something which is done for the future more. So the time, money, energy invested in it will bring you result only after a period of time. So patience is the key, and it has to be done as per the steps mentioned in my book. There are no shortcuts. Generally, for creating master data of the software, we hand over it to the person who has no job in the stage, who is idle. And that is the biggest mistake we do, because masters are the brain. It is the thing, the way you have learned something, you are substituting your decision making to software. That's why you have to focus most on creating right masters, correct data, then only the whole process can go further. I have explained it very clearly, and this will work as a manual if they go department to department, because I have divided the book in different departments and every department can take it as a manual. Thank you.
So, share your thoughts on how to implement ERP. So,
See, ERP, as any all the industry people understand, it's a enterprise resource planning, and the word planning is important here. That is the most important part, which generally we miss. We say, okay, X ERP you take B ERP, 3 ERP. And what we do in 2 years, that we start blaming this ERP is not good. This doesn't have this facility. This doesn't have that facility. Now you are just trying to get something from ERP and trying to blame ERP, but the whole story is different. The story starts from planning. Enterprise resource planning is before you really go and start using software. The bigger part is the planning. War is always fought first in the planning, not on the floor. And as good as is your planning, that good will be, it will go on floor. That's why you should know very well that what exactly you want, top to bottom. You have to create your control points. You should know that you want to allow this and you don't want to allow this. And once you know, then you just go and convert the same idea and strategy on software. Sometimes with ERP, limitations will be there. If you go for any standard ERP, because industries are of thousands of types. It's not some 10 types or 20 types of processes are there. Within chemical, if you go, there are many types of process. If you are a drug manufacturer, you have different type of processes, and then licensing, and then government policies and all those things. That's why you have to first know what exactly you want. Now, my thought on this thing, my experience of 30 years, I have put in this book. Okay? That first you know what exactly you want, then you find for the right choice if available. If not available, you can go for customized software. But even if you go going for customized software, what you have to understand that if you don't know your requirement and you will live on someone who is developing software, then understand this limitation. That software developer is an engineer who has been educated for 10 years, 5 years with some experiences in a limited domain. And until a domain knowledge that software person will have, he will not be able to deliver you what you want. That's why the best thing, you decide what you want and try to get it done from them. That's the way. Once the process is matching what you want, it will be implemented. Another challenge of ERP implementation is roadblocks from HR. Generally, in last 30 years, I have experienced that the first fear people will have, user will have, that whatever mistake I do will be highlighted, and that's why they will try to avoid as long as and as much as they can avoid digitization. Once they agree, if you force them and you make them agree to do that thing, the middle management, even the top management will have this thing that there can be something wrong, or they will try to keep some options where the things will bad can be hidden, and like that. That's why there are human challenges and there are challenges from product. But if you have right planning, you can always implement.
okay, so it's kind of a personal question. I'm just gonna ask you that, due to this pandemic, everybody, almost everybody has faced very much challenges and struggles. Everyone, has faced challenges. So could you tell us something about your challenge or that you had to face, or your struggle that you had to face due to this due to the outbreak of this pandemic?
Honestly, I will tell you, like every other business, we suffered from crunched finances, lack of orders, fear of future, laying off of manpower. Somehow we could manage our team, and we didn't allow them to suffer. I am really thankful to God for, honestly, I will again mention, it was annual maintenance contracts which helped me. Now, in last 30 years, we have created such a good clientele that before I used to have my team who used to follow up them for giving AMC. But now the AMC was coming either because they feared that if I don't pay and services will not be given, or they were really generous. But that helped me in keeping my staff safe and maintaining their requirements very well. And on the other side, like we have two verticals. The one vertical is health management. In health management, you know what people were doing. They have done their best, and we were supporting them from behind. Whenever there was a new COVID hospital, within 24 hours, we'll set up everything, right? Starting from hardware to software to system and everything, and it will start working. Because you know the reporting was very important. We have been reporting about every data. That's why it made us work like military, and we really feel proud of that we could do.
So, what do you think about the process of digitization that is happening everywhere, almost everywhere, and in every industry? So, what do you have to say about that, sir?
In one line, if I tell you, digitization is something which is inevitable. You cannot avoid. If you are trying to avoid, you are going to lose, or you will be out of the business. Simply, you will be out of the business. The more an industry makes delay in it, the more they are losing. Now, what sells is inconvenience. If you are not able to provide it, you will be out sooner or later. It is not now the product based industries. People want it at right time, right place, wherever they want. Every information, everything there. Now, one of the important thing I will tell you, there used to be meetings of management meeting for reporting. Now, I just, wherever I help in computerization of industry, the first thing I say that this meeting you stop and make the meeting of strategy making and planning. Reports should appear on dashboard on its own. Everything should be visible. Why to ask A, B, C and others? And that's there. Now, other part of computation, if you see robotics are in use wherever required. Now we don't do anything dangerous. We don't need to do anything dangerous. The machines will do that. Similarly, IoT, then Industry 4.0 and artificial intelligence, industrial automation, wherever the process can be done by machine. Now we don't need to do it by hand. It is not just to avoid people or avoid human interference, more for accuracy, more for fineness. And obviously human is required there also to maintain data and manage console and all those things. That's the whole process of comparison going on all over the world. And another important point I would like to add, now consumerism is at the top. Now, this is not you will decide as an industrialist that what software you want to use, or in a hospital or in any kind of mall or any everywhere. This is the consumer will decide that what kind of software you should use so that they get custody on their doorstep. And that is the biggest challenge, where even if the computerized organizations have to modernize them, they have to change it to the new environment, what has come up.
Thank you so much, sir. These were the questions, and it was, we are so honored that, for you, that we had to talk to you, and it was such a delight.